close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Karl Smith from the UK Hypnosis Academy, and tonight we're going to be talking about working on the front line. We're going to be talking about working with military and emergency personnel around the globe, and I'm going to give you some insights into what I've learned over my 20 plus years of being in both the services. And I'm going to give you some ideas about what things are going on at the present moment in times, and things that we've noticed over the past few months that will probably change a lot of things as well. So we're going to be talking about that. I'll talk about a bit about my police experience. I'm going to talk about a bit my military experience, but what I did in the military and stuff like that. And we go like that. So we're going to do that. So don't forget, guys, just let us know where you are in the world. Same old faces. Briandon. Oh, Briandon got in first tonight. Oh, he's probably like that. So I believe he did. So I hope you're well. Good. James, I hope you're well. Hope you're fine. Levi, great to speak to you earlier. James, hope you're well in over in Bulgaria. Max, hope you're well in California. Shane, hope you're well. Hope you're fine. Right Price, hope you're well. Hope you're fine. You won yesterday for the first seat, by the way. Who else we got here? Yosef, good evening. Where are we here? Simon, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Your rig looks really good. Simon has been out, and we need to, for those people, by the way, Simon, take a photograph of what you've sent me today and put it in our Facebook group. For those people who don't know, this is a monetized channel. If you want to join the Facebook group, our support group, and everything in the background, there's tons going on. It's $5, $9, or $90 if you want to have a session with me in a mentoring session. And that's what Simon did. And he went out and spent an enormous amount of money and is geared up, ready to go for it. So stick those pictures that you sent me today in. So where we got here? Have I missed anyone? Simon, there we go there. Eric, good evening, dear sir. Hope you're well in Saskatchewan. Jules, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Great to speak to you a little while ago. David and your beloved, I take it must be here. I'll try and get it. Max, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Anita, hope you're well in Rotterdam. Hello, Neil. What are you doing on here? So good. Hope you're well, hope you're fine. Chris, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Donna Marsh, good evening, darling. Hope you're well. Carl Sumner, hope you're well. Letty, hope you're fine. Angela, hope you're well, hope you're fine. Jackie Barber, hope you're well. Aritna Nunna Eddie, hope you're well, hope you're fine. So I find it easy going down. There she is. Hi, Colette, hope you're well. And I hope he's made you breakfast, or at least made you a coffee this fine morning. Well, it's fine here, I know that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just discuss. Hi, Karen. I'll keep going through this. Hi, Mario. Mario, can you do me a favor and phone me roughly 8:30 UK time tomorrow? And I'll get you. I'll squeeze you in tomorrow, my friend. Okay, so cool. So I'm going to talk about my experiences. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and I do that, and I've done that a lot of that. And good evening, Tracy. And I'm going to talk about some of the things, my experiences in both. And it's funny actually because Neil's on, and I'm surprised he's watching this one. But on the same token, I'm sure he can put his point of view across if he wants to as well. So I'm going to talk about it. So the long story short is I've never, at the end of the day, I bring it up all the time, but I think it's quite important that when I'm working, that I give myself credibility about when I'm working with military or emergency services personnel, about my background and about how they understand that. Cheers, Mario. And it's not to say that you will not, it just helps me to do what I do. Like I said, and like for anyone who's served in uniform in here, we've all been through our own our own things. We've all experienced things. We've all done things, and above and beyond what members of the public would witness or see or perceive and go through. I'm trying to say that as politely as I can, but on the same token, there are, you know, at the end of the day, it is a different life. It's a massively different life. I've seen the worst and the best of humanity in both my careers. When I was in the military, I definitely saw amazing acts of bravery and humanity, and I also saw ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, Kosovo. I've seen Iraq. I've done most people know I was, you know, Northern Ireland in August 1998. I was out there when a big explosion ripped through a place called Omar. And even when we was in Cyprus, you know, doing the UN tour, there was a UN tour. For those people who don't know, Cyprus is was a divided city. The city of Nicosia was the last divided city. And there was a green line down there. And I think the first month we were there, I think a Greek Cypriot got shot by a Turkish soldier. You know, and these things here, you know, these things happen. So during my life, if I was a kitty cat, I'd definitely be dead. You know, I've gone past my 9 lives, but I intend to use the others up very, very well. But the point being is that tonight is to talk about, a lot of people phone me up and say, oh, I've got military people. How do I get onto the military base? How do I get into the police? How do I do this? How do I do that? One of the key things that I'm going to say right now shouldn't deter you from attempting or even supporting. However, they are closed shops. They are very much closed shops. And I'm noticing that right now, that even though I've only been out of the police coming up 5 years, is that they are becoming closed shops. However, that doesn't stop you working with local authorities and doing it that way. On a national way, they're going their own way. I have my own personal opinions on looking at some of the mental health training they've got. In my opinion, and from my position, I think some of it is still shocking. I think it's outrageous, and there is still an ability for you to go out there and to go deliver what you do to those people. There is nothing stopping you going out there. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Right Price. And the key thing is, by the way, if you have served or done any of those, please punch it up. Let us know what you've done, because you may have something to offer as well. This is coming from me. So the military is especially, and I'm going to talk the military as in UK, and I'm not going to be too surprised. Good evening, Karl. I'm not going to be too surprised if it does change from around the planet. But on the same token, when I was in the army, and I got out in, I don't know, when did I get out? Was it 95? No, 2005. Jesus Christ, I lost a decade just then. When I got out of the army in 2005, it still was pretty poor. As in, we used to just drink lager, knock shit out of each other, and just get on with it. And that was the way that we dealt with any stress or tension, especially, you know, we used to have, you know, you can never stop this, but they used to say, oh, this 2-can rule. You're not going to drink tonight. You're not allowed to drink on tour. Well, that's fine. We just nickel the fruit and make homebrew. That's what we did. But, oh, nice one, Max. Are you on C-130s? Nice one. I've just had one land here, funny enough. Just had an American C-130 land on the runway just here a little while ago. Well, it just came in low and then hit, and then some other little grey thing come in and landed as well. I don't know if Neil saw it a little while ago, but yeah, we just had an American one just come in a little while ago. But the long story short is that was the way that we dealt with it, and I'll be interested to see what my American or Australian or anywhere around the world, what their views were about dealing with crisis in the military or emergency services. Because I'm going to start off with my military experience. Is that when I was in Germany, there used to be a place, a hospital called Wegberg. And it was commonly known that that's where the psych ward was, the psychiatric ward was, or the mental health thing was. That's where mental health happened. And you know, where mental health happened. That was such poor English, wasn't it? And that's where people would go to relieve their stress, their tensions. All they had to say is, I feel depressed. You were taken off of guns, and that was it. And you would be sent to Wegberg. The biggest problem with that was, and why that people didn't want to, is because it used to, and it makes me laugh now, but it is pretty sad, because we used to do it. We always used to say it, but it used to be a case of, you never used to say they've gone to the nut house. They've never gone to do this. They've never gone to do that. it was always they've gone to go stuff teddy bears. And anyone who's English military watching this knows exactly what I'm on about. Vegberg is where people used to go and make in Germany, and I think it was a joint base for the Americans as well and the Germans, but it was where people used to go wicker baskets and stuff like that, and weaving wicker baskets and making teddy bears for, you know, just to keep them occupied, and then go have little chit chats with people. And that was what it was. But the image of it, the image of that stopped a lot of people. In fact, I think it was encouraged to try and stop people from going. My personal opinion is, now looking back, I may well be wrong. If some of my ex people that I serve with think that I'm wrong, I'm more than welcome. But I used to think that it used to be like on a parade. They'd be like, you don't want to end up in Vegberg, do you? You don't want to end up there, do you? Or are you feeling that bad? Do you want to end off the Vegberg? Because it had such a stigma against it. It was like, if you bring up your mental health, you're weak. And especially and those people might think, oh, this is a little bit ego driven, this, that, and the other. But anyone who's ever served in any form of uniform, regardless of what it is, and I don't mean Boys Brigade or Cubs or Brownies or anything like that, is that what I mean is that if you've ever served in a uniform, you'll know what I mean by that, is that it was always seen as weak. And for those people who have never served, that's where the hierarchy came in, is that weakness wasn't tolerated. And weakness was seen as like, you're just a skiving shit, or you are just fucking, you're not worth it. You're not worth it. As soon as you brought it up, bang, you were off. And the key thing is that that's what it, you know, it was always shunned like that. Now, when I left the army and I joined the police, it changed, but it weren't too much. It honestly, I'll tell you the story in a moment about what happened to me. And there were some beautiful people, and I know somebody there that watches me occasionally, was a great help to me. But on the same token, it was, and this is the type of thing at the present moment in time, what we're finding is, especially in the military and in emergency services, they're trying to draw it in-house. They're drawing all of their mental health in-house. And I think that is one of the most dangerous things that can happen to our military and emergency services personnel. I really do. And I'm going to come on to that later on. Anyway, we had Vegberg, and I'm sure that those people there would know what I mean by that. Is it was a sign of weakness, and you know, in some ways, we didn't want to do that. You didn't want to, because then it would negate you from certain things, from certain tours, from certain, you know, certain things that the regiment may be doing, or other things like that. So, you know, when I was in, it was very, very much a stigma that you never wanted. You never wanted to be somebody that was off to Vegberg. And I'm sure those people that have been in uniform will appreciate that they must have something of similar ilk that they were talking about there. And it was just one of those things. And you know, I remember I was on what's called Quick Response Force in August 1998 when the Omar bomb went off, and 29 people unfortunately lost their lives in August 1998. I was on the QRF for that, and I was attached to the bomb disposal EOD boys at the time, because I wanted to join bomb disposal. And hi Lee, hope you're well. And the key thing is that I went onto I wanted to join the EOD, so they stuck me on there. And funny enough, it was the same time as the Omar bomb went off. 29 people unfortunately lost their life. If you imagine a small high street with a £500 bomb in it and lots of people doing their shopping, it doesn't really leave a lot of nice images, let's put it that way. You know, and even an unborn baby, so there's 30 people that actually died. They just didn't count the unborn baby that day. Amazing how you remember these things. But the thing is that night, I'll never forget it, is that we were in just outside the bomb disposal place, or at Besbrook Mill in South Armagh, and they were just giving out cans of lager and just telling people just to get on with it. You know, at the end of the day, it's happened, blah blah blah. You know, and I won't forget one of the EOD boys sitting there talking about the bottom of his boot, and he noticed something on the bottom of his boot. And I'm not going to vicariously give you trauma by telling you what was on it, but it did make us all think like that. Anyway. He had something in the cleats of his boots. Anyway, the thing is that these things, this is where I get my analogy about post-trauma being about it being a pressure cooker, and about how that pressure cooker builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And if we keep not letting go of that lid, if we don't let go of that valve, eventually it'll go bang. And the thing is that we have that, then we go to you know, then I go to Kosovo where there was ethnic cleansing and all that type of stuff. We never actually witnessed it, but there were elements of bodies and stuff lying around. You could see where they'd use body parts to write certain things, like what's called uchka and things like that, cross with 4 C's on it. They would use body parts to write that. So these are the type of things. I'm just being brutally honest with you, right? Hope you don't, none of you have. I really don't want to share too much, but I want to show you the type of stuff that I've done. So when people think I'm nuts, I probably am. But on the same token, I've experienced this stuff. And then we go to Iraq, and then I do all of that, and then all the other sandy places I've been to and done all that. But all those things, they compress and they compress. And the only way that we could figure it out was just get drunk. And the education at that moment in time and the stigma that followed it was bad. And it wasn't until the latter end of my career, and I think it started to happen is we used to have a thing called decompression, but I never actually ever went on one in my bloody career, to be quite honest. And I should have been on one, but because a letter came through to tell me you're joining the police, because so I left the army on a Friday, and I was actually in the police force on the Sunday, and under military law, I was still under military law for 7 days. It makes sure that that you can't go back and punch your sergeant major in the face. But the thing is that I left on the Friday and joined, but it was only several weeks beforehand. I'd only just come back from Iraq, and you know, we'd been out there and stuff had happened out there. And the key thing is that I'd not let go. I'd never let go. When we came back from Kosovo, this is genuine, right? This is one of the best bits of therapy that I think I've ever had, and it probably molded me into the person I am now, and made me think about therapy in a different way. Is that I went down to Haslar, which is down on the south coast, a very famous port called Portsmouth, in where our Royal Navy sit, and there's a place down there, and there's a hospital down there, and I'll never forget it. And they sent all of us that had come back from Kosovo and said, well, we think you all should go see somebody. And we all went to see a psychiatrist down in Pompey, Portsmouth. And I walked in, he says, oh, are you such and such? Oh, I'm James, first name terms, all that type of stuff. And I'm quite shocked because you're in the military and there's everything, sir, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir, and all that type of stuff. And he said, what I want you to do is I want you to open that door in a moment. I want you to walk through that door. This is genuine, right? This is genuine. Hi, Janet. And he said to me, I want you to walk in that door in a minute, and I want you to close the door, count to 30, lift up the sheet of paper, and at the top of your voice, shout what's on the back of that paper. This is a genuine story. This is genuine, right? And I said, okay. I said, so what do you want me to do? He says, well, it's quite simple. You walk in that door, you shut the door, so count to 30 seconds, lift up the sheet of paper, turn it over, and I want you to shout as loud as you can, right? Bearing in mind, we've just come back from ethnic cleansing, and it was horrible, to be quite honest. Kosovo, it's probably the worst shitty one that I've ever done. But the thing is, and he said, do it. So I walked into this room, counted to 30 seconds, flipped over this bit of paper. This is genuine, right? And it said on there, shout as loud as you can, uck off. Uck off. So I'm in there going, do you want me to shout this, sir? And he's going, what did I tell you? So I'm in this little room, in this cupboard, for want of a better word, going, it's going louder, like that, really loud. And I'm going louder and louder. And he's going, right, last big one, right, now come out. I came out, sat down, and I was laughing. I never stopped laughing. I didn't stop laughing all the way back. And I still laugh to this day thinking about it. He said, how do you feel now? And I went, I feel all right, actually. I feel all right. He went, yeah, you do, don't you? Just getting it all out off your chest like that. And I went, yeah. And he just went, happy? I went, do you want to not talk about anything? He went, not unless you want to. And I went, no. All right then. And I walked out of there just laughing my ass off. And even though, and now we know, and I know, but this was the extent of what was going on, right? Is that I walk out of there, and several years later, that must have been 1999 we were in Kosovo. So 98 we'd done Omar. We'd been in Omar, and then in 1999 I was in Kosovo. So we're quite close together. And then what happens then is that is that, you know, my career goes on. There's other things that we do, things build up, things build up, things build up. And then eventually I leave the military, which was stressful enough as it is, because I'd always wanted to join the army. And I just decided enough was enough, and stuff like that. And the key thing is that I then joined the police. So I never gave my body time to decompress. I will get to some of the questions and comments in a moment, by the way, but I never gave my body time to decompress from that. And like when we came off a rig, we would have a few pints and we'd call that the pub decompression chamber. Absolutely. I used to work on the trawlers when I was a young kid, Eddie, and it was the same principle. You'd de-kit the boat after 2 weeks of being on a trawler. When I was a young pup, when I was 16 and a half, I used to go work on trawlers for 2.5 weeks, bouncing up and down the North Sea, circling Echo Fist and all around that way. Cool. Where did that come from? Echo Fist, which is in the middle of the North Sea. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, as a 16-year-old, I'd get dragged to the pub by all the fishermen and just get absolutely battered on 1 or 2 pints. But the key thing is that, and that was a decompression, but the key thing is I never gave my body time to decompress. And one of the things that did get noticed, and I won't mention his name on here, but we'd got about several weeks into my policing career, done all the dib, dob, swore myself in and all that type of stuff. And one of the key things that was noticed is that, and I never noticed it, is that I was down the pub every night. I was in the pub every night. And there are friends of mine that I served with during this time that actually know this story. And one day, they called me into the office, bearing in mind that when you're in the police and you're in basic training, it's all about watching your P's and Q's and don't do anything like that. And, oh, say please and thank you. It's all that type of shite. And, you know, it's all about watching your tongue when you're in the first day. And I really had to curb myself, but I was still gobbing off. I was still doing what I was doing. I still had that. You can take the boy out of the army, but you can't take the soldier out. You can take the boy out of the army, but you can't take the army out of the boy. Simple as, right? And I was going to the pub every night. I didn't realize what was going on. Eventually, some people around me going, the wheel's coming off of him somewhere like that. So they called me into the office and said, right, we've got concerns. So go on then. They said, well, you're in the pub every night. Every night you're in the pub. Sometimes you're not leaving there till 11:30. They say you finish work, you go straight to the pub, and then you come back, and then you're in the morning. Yeah. Okay. Do I smell of alcohol? No. Am I disheveled? No. I'm the smartest one. In fact, there was me and one other. We were smart as a button. We were like two ex-military lads. We were smart as a button. And I said, my boots are bald in the morning. They're clean. I said, my uniform's done, and I'm passed on the test. Yeah. So what's the problem? They went, well, we think that there may be some things that are going on. Obviously, you've told us about your past, and we're a little bit concerned. They said, what can we do for you? This is true. What can we do for you to help you? And I said, well, the course finishes at 5:30 at night. They went, yeah. I said, could you finish at 5? Because the pub opens at 5. Oh, my God. It rained down on me. My sense of humor did not kick in on that one, I can tell you that. But they didn't find it funny that I asked them to close the courses half an hour earlier so I could get to the pub. But it was at those early stages that I realized that things were going wrong. I really did. That was the only time that I started to realize, when other people started to notice outside of the military that the wheel was coming off. And the key thing about that is that it took other people to do that. And then we go forward on to August the 4th, 2006. So it's only 8 years after, it's only 8 years after Omar, many other different things that I've done, the Afghans and all that lot. So it was only many years. But when I had the car accident, it was never the car accident that was playing me up. It was never the car accident. This was the trigger. This is why I talk about that trigger in post-trauma. It was all of the other stuff that had happened in the past that I'd buried. All right. That's why I tell that story, because that's why I'm telling that story tonight, because that makes sense when I'm talking about the pressure cooker. I'd not done anything. And then I joined the police, not allowed my body to rest, not even a year, not even let my body rest. I gave myself one day after a 12-year career, one day to decompress, and I didn't even get to the pub. So the thing is that, that there's that. Then the accident happened, and then that's when the wheel fell off, because what happened was the pressure cooker completely and utterly exploded. Everything that had been stored, the images, the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, and the sensations that I'd gathered through all of my life, all the way through my careers, were now going to come back and bite me right in the rectum. So we've got the military way of doing things, right? So I'm coming to a point here, by the way, is that we've got the military side of it where there is nil, nothing. There is nothing. There is, if you want help, you go to the private sector. You don't tell anyone in the regiment because you get your ass kicked for it. And then you just get labeled as a tosser. That's basically what happened. You just literally got labeled waster. That's what you got. And then I joined the police, right? And I thought things were going to be better. And I joined the police, and literally, I'll tell you now, right? 2 or 3 weeks after my accident, our union, our federation got involved. Now, I'll be brutally honest. The people that were there were constrained by rules, okay? But on the same token, the only thing that they were allowed to offer me, and this is genuine, is a £15 gift card. This is 2006, right? 2006. The only thing they were allowed to offer me was a gift card. And it wasn't until somebody said, well, we need some extra finance because this idiot has gone above and beyond for what we normally deal with police officers. We need to get him a counsellor. So instead of getting me a counsellor, this is where that funny story starts about me and the counsellor, is that they said, yeah, all right, we'll get him one in Oxfordshire. And for those people who are not geographically where I am in Oxford is, Oxford's 3.5 hours drive from here. So it's 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours back. So I said no, and I did it over the telephone. And then eventually we did the one session, and that was the one session when I said, tell me about how it felt being trapped under a car or being run over by a car. So we've got that bit there. So even the police force wasn't prepared and still was in archaic in 2006. In fact, I'll give it until about I'll give it till about 2001. It was still archaic. Now, for some of you who might be interested, this is where I started my journey in mental health. I'm going to tell you now, this is where I started my journey. And I love this charity to bits, and it's one close to my heart. And the people who run it, I love them dearly. And the thing is this is where I started my career. When I realized what had gone wrong for me, because the military and emergency services in a whole don't really know what they're up to, and they still don't know what they're up to. I'll be brutally honest. I've seen some of the training they're receiving at the present moment in time, and it's superficial. Compared to what we can do, it is highly, highly superficial. So what happened was that I joined this organization here. It's called the PFOA, and it just started out, Police Firearms Officers Association. Basically, it was a charity designed to support firearms officers and police officers that have been involved in critical incidents. Now, you know me, I'm not going to talk about what critical incidents I've been involved in the past, and what I've done. However, if it's been in England and been on the front news, I've probably been involved somewhere along the line with the welfare and support of the families thereafter. All right. So if it's been a serious incident since 2006, I'd say. Yeah, 2005. From 2005 all the way through to roughly the end of my career, I was involved in most of that stuff because I wanted to get involved with police charity work, and that's where I learned my trade. I was working with firearms officers, I was working with their families and children and all that. The key thing about it is, the reason that I got involved in this is because when I was going through what I was going through, there was nobody to reach out with. They have now started to put more on it. And I do know that somebody quite senior is watching me at the moment because I've just been texted. And you're throwing me now. The key thing is that there are things in place at the present moment in time. There are, but they are still inadequate. But what we are finding, especially with my work, especially with the way that I deliver stuff, is that they want to keep it in-house. They really do, for financial reasons. And I still think that that is a very, very, very dangerous thing to do. And the reason being is because they're not getting the outside influence. They're just getting the same old regurgitated thing. Now, one of the key things, I'd be interested in those people who have served, regardless of where you are, is if you firmly believe that any mental health training you've ever received in any sphere, was merely a management tool to tick a box to get you out of the booking office. I'd be interested if anyone else has got that opinion. Because even still, to this day, to this day, I still firmly believe it is. And especially with reviewing with a senior police officer the other day, what they're being given and what they know I'm doing, because I know they're watching. We know that it's archaic. We know it's still archaic, but because it's going with the whole trend, with the whole, oh, we must do this and we must do that and we must do this, they think that that's it. It's not. You know, I'm going to be brutally honest here, that the mental health first aid, I still to this day firmly believe, even though I've done the bits and bobs with that, I still firmly believe that that is one of the most superficial courses. It's built for 10-year-olds, in my opinion. That course, in my personal opinion, is written for 10-year-olds, because all it does do is it just show you, it just says to you, identify these things. Now that's all well and good, but we can understand as human beings when somebody's having a shit time. We know when the wheels fallen off because we listen to their language. For me to go on a course that just tells me, hey, Chris, let me just read that. Hey, it's all right. I went, hey, Karl, great to hear you do what you're always doing and trying to get folks to wake up to mental health. And you know, oh, mate, thanks very much, my friend. Thank you. I hope you're well, Chris. Give me a bell during the week. And the key thing is about this is that I think it's just a tick in the box. And some of the courses, like that mental health first aid course, are merely superficial. I know that that I can go to a doctor on my own volition if I need to, and I know that there are other people around me. I don't need a course to tell me that if I've got a problem, I can do it. And there are people on this thread at the moment who used to sit with me knowing full well I used to have a shit problem with a shit boss all the time. And the key thing is that, you know, we know that. Now, I agree that, you know, the mental health first aid, whatever it is, mental health first aid course, it has a place, but it's still superficial, but we're still using it as a tick box place to do things. It's just, yes, we've done the MHFA, let's fob it off. But what we're not dealing with is the core issues. You're not dealing with the core. You're not dealing with the actual issues that are going on. That's the problem. We're superficially just going, yeah, you may have these problems. You can go to your doctor. we can go to your doctor and all that lot. I know you do, Chris. And the thing is that we can do that. And the thing is that we know that. So it has got a place, but they're still not gearing up into doing this. And the reason behind this video, after 32 minutes of yapping on, my point is that even though they're still bringing it in-house, I went to do a conference the other day, which is called the Police Federation of England and Wales, which is a federation, like the union for those people outside of the UK, a union for those people in the police service and that. And it soon became apparent that because we are no longer in the fold, we are no longer needed, even though those people at the top of that echelon know what my capabilities are. They're not interested. So the point is that even though I've given you some negatives there, here's the positives. Still keep going for it with military and emergency services personnel, because I can tell you now, and from those officers that are watching me right now, and I know they are because I've got text messages banging up in front of me now going, you're going to get a load of people in this shit, is with military and emergency services personnel, maybe do a video to say that you're there to support them, that you know what to do. Talk about content-free hypnosis. Talk about content-free therapy. I'm just going to come on to this as well. I've just mentioned something. I should have mentioned it. Is about you can do it content-free, and you are not going to be one of those therapists that drag them through the shit. That's one of the key things that any military personnel really want to know. But in fact, I would say majority of everybody wants to know that you're not going to drag them through like some psychotherapists do, right? But my advice is keep producing videos. In the past few weeks, we've known about that. We've known about what they're doing in-house. We didn't go to the Police Federation England Wales conference because we got people on here know who I'm talking about. We got a gypsies warning. We got a warning saying don't bother. because of, you know, it's now going in house. But my plea to you is that while you're doing all these videos, right, still maintain doing it, because they will come to you. They will come to you in a personal way, not going through the military structure. Now, what I'm going to say about this is don't always use the word hypnosis. Let me tell you why. Especially in England, and I would strongly suggest that in America as well, is that like a couple of people that are watching me, as well, guys. And I'm going to try and get back to some of these questions in a moment. I know I've been running on for a bit. Is that you will get people that are not allowed to use hypnosis. And this is one of the key things that I used to hit a barrier with when I was working especially in the police world. And the reason being is not because they don't want it, right? This is really key that you mention this as well, like a coaching or something like that. We offer coaching and we offer hypnosis. And the reason being is that, like myself and a few people are watching this, we were what was called DV vetted, developed vetted, which means secret level, basically. All right. So we were secret level. And in that clause, you are not allowed to use hypnosis. Quite ironic, really, isn't it? That I did all my secret vetting, and then all of a sudden I was doing hypnosis, which makes it quite fun. But it's one of the key things. And I don't know if those officers that know what I'm on about could text me if that's changed. But as of 4 years ago, when I left the job, was it 4 years ago? I think it was 5 years ago. When I left the job, it was DV vetted. If you were developed vetted, you couldn't use hypnosis, not allowed to use hypnosis in any way. And if any of those officers that know could text me or let me know, then I'd be appreciated if it has changed. But you still couldn't do it. But it's one of those things as well that you've got to look at, because it may well be that they cannot use your services. The other thing as well is that I know about as well is that you may get people that turn up from organizations that definitely do not want you to know. Cheers, Chris. If they do not want you to know that what service or what specialist operations team they're from, if I leave it like that. So you've always got that as well. So here's a top tip. Make it quite clear that if you see anyone from the military or emergency services, you will in no way contact the military or emergency services or make their records available to the military or emergency services unless they express so in a private letter, because that's one of the biggest fears, because people want to come see you, but they don't want to do it. And I'll tell you for why. And Eddie, you're absolutely right. I'll come to that in a moment. It's under, I think it was this is how bad it is, the 1958 Act. I think it's something like 1950s, Eddie, that's written into an act like this secret act or something like that. You can't do it. So it's that far back. First tip, make it quite clear that you're going to do content-free hypnosis. You're not going to drag them through all of that shit. The second tip is make them aware that you do not share any of your records. Yeah, that's right, Janet. You do not share any of your records with the military. It stays between you two or the emergency services. And I'll come on to why in a moment. And the other thing as well is about making sure that they know that you're the right person to do it. And what do I mean by that? The reason I stay in my specialist role and the reason you see me talking and walking the way that I am is because I work with more military and emergency services personnel than probably anything else. Why? Because I get the system, but it doesn't mean you won't. I get the system. I get what they are, and I can talk about it and have the crack and all that type of stuff. And I can do that. So the key thing is that about building that crack up, having a laugh, having a joke with them, talk about stuff, but make sure, A, you're not going to share their records. B, you're content free and you work with military and emergency services personnel and you can have the crack with them, because that's what they want. They want the crack. They want to have a laugh. They want to have a joke. I know somebody who watches this channel has asked me to go down to a military base to deliver that. And the reason is because they know that they're going to get a proper mental health package with me delivering it. All right. And that's the reason why, because I'm going to walk it and talk it and give them it. They know, but it doesn't stop you from doing it either. So yeah, so be mindful of that as well, because when you're a firearms officer or a SWAT officer, for some of you, me and a few others that are watching this at the moment, we would technically be called SWAT officers in outside of the UK. In the UK, we're firearms officers or tactical firearms officers, or I can't remember what the fuck I was called now. Anyway, firearms instructors, whatever. I will get back to answering the questions in a moment, guys. But the thing is that if you report sickness, I was very proud. I loved my job as a firearms instructor, and those people that are watching me now knew I loved my job. I loved my job, especially delivering what was called post-incident management, all of that. I loved all of that. I thrived on it until some arsehole decided to piss on my bonfire. That gave me a great career. But the thing is, I'm laughing, Chris. So the thing is that I love my career, and I never ever wanted to lose my firearms license, as in the police, because it's hard to get. It's something I was very proud of. I never failed a qualification shoot. I was always on time. I always loved it. I did all of that. But if you go in and say, I think I've got some problems, then guess what? Thanks, Chris. AFO, there we go. Sometimes, Chris, when I'm talking, I forget what I was, specialist or counter-terrorist and AFO. There we go, authorized firearms officer. So the key thing is that some people don't want to lose the ability to go on guns, not because of the stature, but because of the overtime, right? They don't want to lose it, and they don't want to go and be fiddling around in some office, straightening chairs and counting paper clips, because that's what happens, or sitting in the CCTV room watching shit. So they want to do it. So make it quite clear that you're going to keep your mouth shut. You're going to keep it in-house, because that's what they're going to be worried about. And that's some of the big things I'm giving you there is about get a video done. Get a video done about working with military and emergency services personnel. It does not matter that you have not served. If, as I've been watching this float by like this, and people have been saying, oh, I was a correctional officer, I was in the military police, I did this, I did that, I was in the RAF, the Royal Air Force. That's not military. Who said that? Anyway, whoever put them under an arm of the military? Anyway, but the thing is that Royal Air Force, anything like that, if you've got any experience, then make a video and talk about it. You do not have to come from a background like me or some of the people that are talking in this thread right now, because there are people out there that really, really need your help. They are. And if you start to do that, then people will come. I will tell you now, it will happen, because you've got to start doing it, because what they're receiving at the moment, and I don't want to put anyone in a position, because I know there's about 8 or 9 people watching me, and somebody very senior is watching me as well, is that what they're receiving at the moment, in my personal opinion, from what I've viewed with LAPD, with New York Police Department, with UK policing all over, and emergency services, is shocking. Is absolutely fucking shocking. And it's so superficial. And those people who disagree with me, I couldn't give a shit, but you're not looking at it from a lens that I'm sitting at, as somebody who's been there, seen what you're doing, and it's still superficial. So that sounds polite enough. So let me see. Have I given you enough to think about just then? Because there is an enormous amount. I just sat there for 44 minutes yamping away. Okay, where are we? I've got the Karl Norton earlier. Oh yeah, I've got the Max earlier. C-130s, mate. I love them. We've got I've got RAF Mildenhall and Lakenheath just up the road from me, mate. So that's why we got some earlier. We've got Apaches banging over the top of us at the moment, funny enough. Thank you very much. And to everybody else that's ever served in any emergency service or military, thank you for your service. 1971, 79. I was a twinkle in my daddy's eye. Wendy, oh, you did 7 years. See, that'd be great. The ambulance service, the ambulance service is a massive thing to get into at the present moment in time. All right. Lee, good to see you, buddy. Good. Fear of being capabilities. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I know a lot of Ambo. I speak to a lot of Ambo all the time. Right price. USA shows 19 to 54% prison officers suffer post-trauma. Now, this is my objective, right? Is when we're talking about post-trauma and this type of stuff, is don't look at post-trauma as one incident. I always tell you this, guys. Don't look at it. Look at it as accumulation rather than just one incident. And look at all the shit that we all have to go up with. It doesn't matter. You know, I know people in this thread. No, when I was in my last to and fro's, my last few days of being in the police office, I really fucking detested it. I hated it. And it wasn't a job I hated. It was a fucking idiot. Anyway, so anyway, we go about there. Anyway, there we go. Subconscious does not know the difference between virtual trauma or real trauma. Absolutely. That's why I try not to vicariously pass on too much while I'm talking about the shite that's happened in my life, because I talk about it as though nothing's happened. Whereas some of you might go, fucking hell. And we'll do that. Okay. We'll highlight Janet for being late. It's all right, Janet. Thanks very much. Like I said as well, is there's that thing there called a PFY. You can have a look at that. Police Firearms Officers Association. That's what I got involved in. I loved it. And like some of the officers that are on here at the present moment in time, they know that. That's all I did. In Connecticut, they offered employee assistance program, which did absolutely nothing for staff involved in traumatic events. Yeah, it normally is, mate. What they do is they piece together, like I'm finding at the present moment in time, something that I'm really passionate about. They put together some shitty package. Somebody goes, oh, it's so great, it's so great, it's so great. And you're like that. It's like trauma incident management. TRIM. Do you feel like shit? Yes. Go to your doctor. Do you feel like shit? No. Well, don't go to the doctor. That's what it is. Honestly, I'm a TRIM manager. If anyone's ever heard of TRIM before, TRIM, and then go about it that way. But people thrive over it. Oh, it's brilliant. TRIM does that. You send somebody to the fucking doctor. They know how to go to the doctor. Just get them in the office and say, I think you need to go to the doctor. We don't have to do a fucking week-long course to learn how to send somebody to the fucking doctor. Because that's what exactly, and I've done it, by the way. So anyone who wants to go, like that, I've done it. They do it to protect the state, not the police. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. Thanks very much. Cheers. Yeah, absolutely right. Always comes down to the old shillings, my old friend. It's the same as Civic Stream, mate. Many employees sign up for EAP and tick boxes. Absolutely. And that's what we're seeing at the present moment in time. So we're seeing this increase, and they're going, oh yeah, we'll offer these courses, this, that, and the other. But they're not doing anything. They're just superficial. They're not interventions. There's no intervention. There is no intervention. There is nothing. Just go to the doctor. And all they're going to do is duty of care. You feel like shit? Here's some citalopram. Here's some whatever. Cheers, Chris. Medicals. Here we go. So medical doctor sent me to a psychiatrist first, and he asked me, how do you feel about your mother? Yeah, good. Fuck it, didn't he? How do you think we should title a video that would lead more military and emergency? Well, military and emergency services. I would put that. You know, anything. Even do several videos. Talking about AMBO, talking about, you know, whatever. But I mean, I've done this tonight, military and emergency services personnel. So this will capture military and emergency on SEO. So yeah, you could do that. Do you charge military emergency services personnel? Yes, lower rate, because they're still earning money. They're not, unless they're on death's door. And when I was working for the PFOA, when I was doing the charity work, which I love that charity to bits, by the way, is that when I was doing that charity work, I did most of it out of my. I did get money back for certain things, and I did gain back on a lot of things. However, sometimes I did it for nothing. You know, we just did it for nothing. That was it. You know, so but that's what we did. You know, we'd end up traveling around the country doing bits and bobs, presentations, doing things. It was brilliant. You know, I loved it until some arsehole fucking wrecked it, didn't they, Chris? Anyway, but but they gave me a great career. So, but yeah, so we've got that. Most military members don't want to be vulnerable talking about things that affect them, me included. Absolutely. This is why content free is so vital when you're talking. When you're talking to people from military and emergency services personnel, offer that service of content free. You know, I offer a content free service. Oh my God, it won't just do your military service and all that lot of wow and good. It'll do members of the public because they're sick and tired of talking to nutcases about their problems. All right. Sheila, completely agree with the tick box therapy. The education system for our young people and mental health is the same as useless tick box. Absolutely, it's all tick box like that. All right. Wendy Serber, here is the US military known as the VA is not up to snuff. No, yeah, I get that as well. Where we got here, Colette, in NZ New Zealand mental health for military and police, it's externally provided as an intern. I regularly saw military from those local army bases. Yeah, that's cool, because at the end of the day, they still need that, and that's what I'm trying to get across tonight. I want people to start advertising because you know, at the end of the day, there is a lot out there, and they're trying to keep it inbound, but people are still looking outside. I'm telling you that now, because I'm bursting at the seams with it every freaking day, every day. I'm telling you, I know it's bursting at the seams because I get it. If coppers, AMBO, Coast Guard, and military, I'm surrounded by them here. By the way, I'm on an ex-military base, which is there's another military base right next to it with army on it, and then I've got police stations dotted all the way around me, and plus because of my background, people still know who I am, so they still come to me that way. Did anti-hypnosis hit the Official Secrets Act because of CIA researchers? Yeah, most probably. I think you're looking at yeah, there was what was it, Hypnosis by it'll come to me in a moment, but yeah, I don't know, it may well have done, but it was 1940s I think, and we haven't really grown up since then. So George Estabrooks was the one that I was thinking of just then, because of CIA researchers. Yeah, if you look at George Estabrook, if anyone's never heard of George Estabrook before, it's got a book called Hypnosis. I posted it the other day. Quite an expensive book, but he does go into CIA and all that type of stuff. George Estabrooks. All right. George Estabrok. George Estabrook. Good book on that. My fellow works in counterterrorism, lots of PTSD in the police. Absolutely. I've done presentations with LAPD. I've done them with Las Vegas Police Department, Clark County. I've worked there. I've done things with Florida. I've done things with New York. I've done things with Melbourne Police. I've done things with, where else have I done? I've done the German police force as well. I've actually, I'm going to lose sight of everything. I've worked, I would strongly suggest, and people on here know that I've worked in, I would say 90% of police forces in England and Wales and Scotland. I worked in, I would say that I've worked with every single one in England and Wales, probably a couple of Scottish ones that I'm missing off. And that's just because they don't care. No, they do care. I really didn't mean that. It's just because it was just too far and we probably had somebody up there to do that. Cheers, Chris. Where are we here? Right price. Absolutely. Accumulation of trauma is a big problem with prison officers. Constant vigilance, high risk. Absolutely. We've got a prison. We've got a prison just up here, by the way. I forgot to mention that off a minute ago. We've got a prison, an open prison down here called Hollesley Bay. Well, it's actually called Holiday Bay for those people who know it around here because they just walk around. But Hollesley Bay is just down here, and that is one job. I mean, being a police officer is bad, but I could never imagine being a prison officer, because you never know your arse from your elbow when you're turning around on that one. And you know, all you have to do is just make one mistake, and you know, outside of things, and next minute you're on CCTV and they don't give a shit. And what I've learned just lately as well is that we're not interested in the truth. We're just interested in what people have got to say. We're worried about being critiqued rather than anything else. Anyway, here we go. How effective help mental health for Help the Heroes? I know you've asked a third of their staff being criticised for high earnings. Yeah, Chris, I'll tell you one thing, mate. I don't do anything with them. I would rather give my money to the British Legion than that organisation. I'll be brutally honest. When they spend an enormous amount of money on cleaning a chandelier that we've all paid into, then I think you can appreciate. You can go research that, by the way. If you go do that and chandelier cleaning, you can find out. There's lots of little things as well. Some of it was superficial, but you know, and the other thing as well is that with the British Legion, they support everybody. Sorry, for those people who don't know, that's in America, it's like your VA, Veterans Association. We've got what's called the Royal British Legion in England. And for anyone around the world, it's for people that look after them. The Royal British Legion, or the VA, look after everybody. Help the Heroes only help people from 2001, I believe it was, or 2002. They didn't do any historical battles or anything like that. So, you know, if you were, I don't know, 1958 or 1960s serving, no, they won't help you. Whereas Real British Legion do. So I don't really do anything with what's called Help the Heroes, to be quite honest. And plus some of the stories I've heard as well, they do take the piss with the money. That's my personal opinion. All right. Let me say, I never went up 18 stone bricklayer. No, you're absolutely right. I want to work primarily with the NHS. It's where I have the most experience. Yeah. And I'll talk to you about that, Wendy, when I'm on the diploma, because I've actually been approached by East Anglian Ambulance Service to do some work with them in the background. And it's an amazing. Isn't this another amazing story, right? That I actually, with my mental welfare coach, I don't know if you know, but I've got another company which sits alongside this, which takes away the hypnosis side of me, but still is hypnosis in some ways. But I do what's called mental welfare coach. If you've never seen it before, you can go have a look at the website. Mental welfare coach, and it's amazing that I was approached by, and I'm not allowed to mention which one it was, but I was approached by an NHS trust, and they asked me to deliver their mental health training. Can you believe that shit? I was asked by the NHS to deliver because they realized in the NHS that the system that they were being offered was outdated and useless, and that's why I went and did it. So that's why I've worked with trusts before. You know, when you've got doctors and nurses telling you this system's broken and nobody's listening because of that, then guess what? So the key things that I wanted to get across today, I'm really sorry if I haven't been able to answer everybody. I'm trying to scoot for as much as I can. Inexperience. Yeah, exactly what Chris just, what Steve just said then. It's the same in Civvy Street. Many employees sign up for EAP, tick boxes, stressed off, inexperienced counsellors. Yeah, there's lots of people out there at the moment that do a 2-year course that don't really learn a lot on a 2-year course and go out there and think that some strange reason that counselling is better than hypnosis. I've never got that. You know, let's sit there for 12 years and talk about shit and rob people. Oh, did I say that out loud? But on the same token, there's that. Yeah, MK Ultra. I think it's documented in MK Ultra's mentioned in George Estabrook's book as well. Yes, MK Ultra as well. What's Chris just said? CIA remote viewing the paranoid mind is also believe it's possible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it goes on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah. So guys, got any questions for me? Bloody hell. Where did that hour just go? I had so much I wanted to do. There's so much I wanted to think about and say. But look, guys, you know, at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people talk to me about how do I get experience? Offer yourself up to charities. As few people in here that are watching me, somebody's watching me remotely. There's a couple of people, senior management, that are watching me at the moment because I'm getting the messages come through at the moment. Is to offer your services as a coach, you know, and just say, yeah, I'll do a little bit of hypnosis, but you don't want me to do it because that's the scary bit for them. So maybe just do that. And I do use hypnosis, and I tell people I use hypnosis, but on the same token, if they say, well, can we calm it down on that because we've got X, Y, and Z in the office? Yeah, that's cool. I'm doing coaching, but on the same token, they still get the same thing because that's what we do. It's all hypnosis, just poorly advertised. This is why I come on here and I do this, because when you're not getting your message out enough. As a whole community, we're not. We know that CBT and counselling have a time and a place, but I know that this is far more powerful than both of those and far more cleaner. That's the thing, right? And it's a cleaner thing than both of them. I know that because I do it, and I know when people are trained properly, you've got such a powerful tool to help and support people in such a small time, you know, in a very short space of time. I'm not talking just one session. You can change post-trauma in one session. You can reduce post-trauma in one session. You won't get rid of all of it because they've still got to retrain and get to used to it and all that type of stuff. But the key thing is that is that if you can make those changes quite quickly, that's the important thing. That's why really I don't go near cognitive behavioral torture. When people ask me about cognitive behavioral torture, I leave it alone. Counseling has a time and a place, but it's down to the practitioner. So those people that are psychotherapists and all that lot, I'm just saying that that's my personal passion. I love doing what I'm doing because I know it's far, far cleaner. I know people that have been in therapy for 2 years, 3 years, and I've done 3 sessions with them. Bang, job done. Because people have been ferreting around in their own shit. They're not dealing with it. They're not dealing with the subconscious, unconscious. They're dealing with the cognitive brain, which is giving them excuses. That's why when I've been to see a counselor or anything like that, I find myself swimming around in my own shit because I'm dealing with just my own pure visceral bile and lies. That's what you're doing. All right. So there's something to think about. Same as EMDR. People are like that. Oh, I need to see an EMDR. Why? It's only fucking bilateral stimulation that somebody just embellished and embellished and embellished. That's all it is, moving your eyes left to right and embellished it just to make it even better. And I know there's some great trainers in England that even agree with that. But on the same token, that's one of those things. Anyway, I'm just ranting now. You got me on a little rant. But anyway, you got that. Large topics, you do not have to limit one. Eric, you asked me a question a minute ago and I need to answer it. Oh, how long have I been a hypnotist? 2006 was my accident. 2007 was the first time I did an EFT course, and I learned EFT. So 2007, and as those officers that are here know, that while I was a serving police officer, I was actually acting as an occupational health service for said police force at that moment in time, due to the fact they realised that the system they had in place was a shower of shite, but yet Smudger here could go out and go help people straight away. And I think I've got that about right for those people. Now, there you go. But yeah, so with Chris there. But on the same token, what I'm going to say there is that I've been working since 2007. I left the police 5 years ago. I think it was 5 years ago. I'm sure it's 5 years ago. I don't know. I'll have to look. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. There's that as well. Shift work has an enormous toll on your body, a huge toll. I'll never forget when I came off of the I was going to say gunships then. When I came off the ARVs, armed response vehicles. When I came off the ARVs and went into the office with a couple of people that are watching here, I actually started to feel a lot better because the shifts knock you out of sync completely. And working shifts, for those people who know about it, that's another thing as well. That's huge stress, massive stress on the body, huge stress. And that's something to take into consideration as well, is that you may be able to support them and help people, but on the same token, if they are putting their body under duress or have been for years, like shift patterns, oh my God, you'll be hitting a batty wicket just there. And that goes for anyone who works shifts, not just military. But I would strongly suggest that those people in emergency services hit it like that. It's probably amplified a little bit more. Advertising is a form of, oh, wrong one. Oh, even still, I'll just do that. Advertising is a form of hypnosis. All of it is, to be quite honest. Hello, Simon. I think it was. I can't remember now. I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 years. I can't remember now. I don't know. It seems like a distant journey. So distant. So much has happened in that time. Too much ale and too much gin, too much fun. Traveling around the world happened since then. But anyway, it's all been good fun. But, just like that. The thing is about me just opening it up. I've given you some of the negatives, right, about what it's like and about what it's like to work in the military and emergency services and about some of the shit that goes on. Yes, things have changed since I got my £20, £15 gift voucher in 2006 and given a phone call once a week just to talk shit while somebody tapped on their keyboard, just talking away and doing their own, surfing the internet, doing what they were doing and pissing me off. And things have changed, but they're still not great. There is a time, there is a place for you there. There is a place for you to go out there and go do something. All right. Go out there and advertise that you can do this. I want you all to do a video on working with military and emergency services personnel and talk about content free. You will not discuss any of this session with the military or emergency services unless they've killed anyone. But on the same token, you're doing that. Have the crack with them. Don't be worried about breaking your mold and throwing some F-bombs in there every so often and having a shits and a giggle. And if they're fucking swearing, you do it as well. Talk about it. Oh, have you done anything? You know, have you been on any, you know, any fun things just lately or anything like that? You know, have you been on any tours? Blah, blah, blah. You know, if you've got any background, like my parents served or I served or I was in correctionals, blah, 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 throw that in. Or even simple things like, I wish I'd joined the military. If I had £1 for every time somebody gave me that, I'd be bonkers. But the key thing is that I really do want you to get out there about content-free hypnosis, about educating people about you do not have to drag up all of their shit. You don't have to do that. Talk about how their records are safe with you. You know, at the end of the day, if somebody is contraindicated or suicidal, then, you know, you want to get them to speak to their doctor. But to be quite honest, I've found that people come to me and go, if I come to see you, Karl, are you going to contact the police or, you know, or anything like that? And I go, like shit. I don't even take notes I don't even take any notes anyway, but I even minimize it when I'm doing it. I even tell them to, you know, to do bank transfers, anything like that, all under the radar. If they want to pay cash, they can do. I don't mind it, but I keep it all under the radar where I can. And that's something like that, because they just want to know that they can offload and not be treated like a shithead at work. They're not going to, you know, have a letter sent to their commanding officer, to their chief officer, to their chief fire officer, to whoever their governor is, or their boss, their governor, or their superintendent, or whoever, and then get shit like that. And that's one of the key things about this. And I want you to, if you just change tack and do that, you watch what happens. I'm very lucky because I've got a military base there. I've got a load of people that are military and emergency services watching me and texting me right now. You know, at the end of the day, that's my background that helps me. But on the same token, do it. Get your videos out there. Tell them that you're content free. Explain what content free is. Tell them that your records are safe with you and that you're not going to share this shit out with their commanding officers and stuff like that, and that you are going to have the crack with them. It's as simple as that, folks. It's as simple as that. And it is so vitally important, folks. All right. So, reflective language. If they're polite, be polite. If they swear like Karl, get away with it. Occasional swearing. Well, nobody turns up, mate, unless they want to be sworn at by me anyway. So, yeah. Oh, wrong one. No, you're more than welcome. Colette, you're more than welcome. Guys and girls. So, look, I don't even know where that hour and 10 minutes just went. It was 2016, mate. I remember. It was 2016, mate. Remember what happened next for me personally? All right. But just, oh, yeah. So 2016, so those people who want to know, I got out of the police. What was that? It's 5 years ago. Holy shit. Where did that go? Oh. So, yeah, so I've been full-time as nothing but a hypnotherapist for, let's say, since 2016. January 2016, I got out. Or December. Was it December 2016? I can't remember. Chris, find out of my records. Anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you on there. Guys, don't forget, get out there, do a video. Don't worry about if you've got no background whatsoever in what I've spoken around. Get a message out there, telling people you can do it, because the SEO will get picked up. And little boy's now going to go to bed. So the key thing is that, guys, get out there, offer a service, do it, because what they're offering at the moment is still substandard. It's better than what it was, but it's still a pile of shite. All right. And I'm telling you that now. And for that senior management team that are watching me right now, yes, it fucking is. So, yes, it does, Chris. Yes. Remember, time flies when you're having fun. Guys, as ever, thanks very much. Don't forget, tomorrow night, we definitely have His Royal Highness, Mr. Paul Gibson, is definitely confirmed for tomorrow night at 7:30. So we're going to be talking about dermatology and hypnosis tomorrow. He's going to give you some science. He's going to give you some ideas. He's going to give you some techniques. And he's going to show you what he does and how he did it. All right. So it's dermatology with Paul Gibson tomorrow. Then we've got, yeah, if you could like, please, that'd be really, really good. Guys, don't forget, you know, this is a membership site. So you can go back into YouTube after I've finished and join. You can join us if you like, and behind the scenes, join our Facebook group where there's some mentoring and stuff going on in the background. So 7:30 tomorrow night, Paul Gibson. Thursday night, we've got Anthony Brindley with websites, SEO, and media. And then on Friday, it is with myself. Next week's guest speakers are Richard Barker on Monday, I believe. And on Thursday, we have Kaz Riley coming in to talk about sexual freedom and the release of a new book on what she does. All right, so sexual freedom. And we'll just do that. So we've got something different for you next week. I'm lining up Bobby Burns, and I've got somebody to come in and talk about EMDR, who cuts all the bullshit out and does that. Swearing is good for the soul. Absolutely. So, yes, so we've got plenty lined up. I still don't even, I don't even know what's happening with Vegas yet. I'm waiting for Mr. Biden to tell me what he's going to do. However, my plane is booked and everything like that. So I have got contingencies for if I go to Vegas or don't go to Vegas. And I hope I do for those guys that want to. But on the same token, there are contingencies in place. But if I do get to Vegas, it's going to be interview heaven for all of you. And on that note, I shall see you at 7:30 tomorrow with Paul Gibson. And we're going to talk about dermatology and hypnosis with science, research, and some techniques. And until then, get out there, folks. Practice, 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 practice. And when you finish practicing, practice some more. Get your bloody videos done and help your uniform services. On that note, auf Wiedersehen, bienvenue, au revoir. Take care. See you tomorrow, 7:30, my friends. Bye-bye.